Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iyori Folani. Yesterday, all political parties were scheduled to, gather and focus on, a peaceful, credible elections come next year. What, 170, just below that number of days before we go into the National Assembly and presidential elections. So that was done yesterday. Our guest this morning, one of our guests this morning, our guest this morning, we're giving the entire time to him and you so that you can call in and we can maybe have a good time. Talking about Mr. Sunny Adenoga. Maybe I should be saying Chief Sunny Adenoga because he is the chairman and indeed presidential candidate of Boot Party. So a fine welcome to you, Sunny.
Thank you, sir.
Hi.
Nice
I don't know, Sunny, is it enough or Chief?
No, Sunny is better. It's very simple, very easy to pronounce. And some call me Sunday. And I remember one of my old phone lecturers, he's late now.
Yes.
Mr. Abe, we say Sunny Day. So whichever
one, Yoruba
Sunny Day. So whichever one is called, I'm fine. I'm not fussy about name. But I don't want any title. If anyone, Mr., I'm fine.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool. So thank you for coming on. Now, the the Peace Accord, the meeting yesterday of political leaders, of our beloved country. How do you? First of all, could you make it?
No, I couldn't make it. I'll be very honest. I know I've even seen some media who said who wrote my name as being present, but I was not physically there. And it's very simple. There was no ample time given to us.
Okay.
And just like you rightly introduced me, I'm Boot Party presidential candidate, but first and foremost, I'm Boot Party national chairman. So beyond being presidential candidate, I have a lot of duties to our other candidates. So I'd already planned a lot of times to be in Lagos with our Lagos aspirants, and I can't just change that schedule. So the information about the peaceful accord signing in Abuja came very, very late.
I see.
And I find it very strange that people will interpret that not being present. Any of the candidates not being present, it doesn't mean you don't support peaceful.
Indeed. But I guess the organizers just wanted it to be seen for the members of the public, really the electorate, to see that all of these people are committed. But I think the point you are making is that the mere fact that you weren't there, it should not be taken that you don't endorse entirely what the objective was.
One of the values of the Boot Party, and we state it clearly, is absolute no to corruption and absolute no to violence. People have often asked me, so if you are cheated in an election, what are you going to do? You wait, you go to court. And that's the process. We've demonstrated it. It's not just what we say. We've demonstrated it when we challenge INEC to court for our registration as a political party. So it should not be interpreted that because we have not made a show of coming to the accord means that it's a sign that the Boot Party is not signing up to. No, that's not, or any candidate whatsoever, in my opinion.
I hear what you're saying. As journalists do note that thing, it turns out that you weren't the only one who wasn't present. And you just explained that, look, as far as you're concerned, the notice was late. And so everybody will have a reason, for whatever. But it's good that you cleared that up. That one, you weren't there. Two, it doesn't mean that you are not entirely behind every aspect of that particular ceremony. So I guess the next thing, and then you did say a number of things that you had planned to be in Lagos. In Nigeria, you had planned to be in Nigeria. It doesn't matter where it is. There are a number of centers in Nigeria that anywhere that you could be. You had planned to be here because you have other duties. Now, you are based in the UK.
Yes, sir.
So how do you feel about that? I'm just curious because all your co-contestants, I think I can get away with that statement, are in Nigeria.
Yes.
Is there anybody else who is working from the diaspora that you know of?
No, well, I'm not aware of that. But in the present world, we're in what they call the global village.
The world is a global village.
And to be honest, there is just little I would say it's not that it doesn't affect the process because you're not physically present, because I'm not physically present. But I'm often more physically involved and directly involved. And it's also what we've done over time as a political party is to ensuring that the process that we are establishing is not only centered around an individual. I remember when I had an interview on AIT, it was one of the conversations that, oh, but you are a technology-driven party.
That's
but
right.
How come you are not, Sonny Adenuga, you're not so visible? And is this a very good opportunity for me to make that clear?
Okay.
The reason is this. We are creating a leadership system. We want people to really slightly focus on the process of how leaders emerge rather than focusing on just one individual. Because what an individual could do is to bring people together, create a leadership system. And if you trust that system, we are always going to be happy who comes out at the end of that process. But if both parties is only about Sunday Adenuga, when I'm no more, which I'm conscious about, when I mean I'm no more, it doesn't mean even when I'm dead. It could be that I have other engagement in life. What happens to the both party? Does it mean it goes away? Okay. Does it mean it's the end of it? So it's on purpose why we have maintained this approach. And of course, we're in a world where there are more technology. You can use technology to really administer many activities. I mean, with due respect to INEC, some of them have been magnanimous enough to credit us with some of the things they've been able to do because we have been at the forefront using technology to drive our processes.
Would you say that this is the whole boot party? There's very much that is innovative. I mean, the name boot, for example, I think we
it means because of our tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yes. It means because of our tomorrow.
So you look at that acronym there, because of our tomorrow. I was going to ask, is this? Do you think that the whole boot project is experimental then, or are you really? I mean, are you in the running? For results, because people have the notion that what is this word now? Structure, and do you think being internet-based as a main driver?
What we've used technology to do is to streamline a lot of processes. Now, it doesn't mean we're not present, and I stand to be corrected. I was at INEC as at Wednesday having a meeting with some of the leaders there. And I posed this challenge when they tried to think that, oh, we're a digital party. I said, can you tell me what party in Nigeria has done more state congresses than the Boot Party? We've conducted state congresses. These are physical congresses. But what has happened in at least 16 states of Federal Republic in just under a year? Please let me know how many APC has conducted, how many PDP has conducted, all the so-called parties that are out there. Now, the question is this. We use technology to streamline the process. I will give you a very good example. We had a very heavy contest of party leadership in Imo State. But because it was absolute transparent process, nobody fought one another. Everybody demonstrated their ability. I even personally had calls from United Kingdom, from Ireland and US, people trying to influence the process. And I said, look, you cannot just change this process. This is what calling us castigating one of the country. I said, no, it doesn't just happen like that. We have a brilliant process in place. And the guy who actually lost the chairmanship position, he was so magnanimous. And he said, you know what, I can fault this. And that's just what we're trying to bring on the table. And we have demonstrated this to the letter. One of the things we tell INEC also to do is this. Today, I have one worry. And I'm going to say it to Nigerians. And I've asked INEC this question, some of the leaders there. Is INEC prepared if 70% Nigerians turn out to vote? I'm not sure I have a very clear answer. Because if you look at the record by statistic now, 35% of registered voters were the ones that turned out in the last election. And now with a lot of efforts that the likes of Boot Party is doing, other parties are doing as well, there is likely, there is at least that sense of optimism in the air that more people will turn out. So what's going to happen? So you want, let's say for argument's sake, can INEC make 70 million voters vote on a single day? And this is what I've always challenged them about.
What response did you get?
Well, yes, it's natural to say that, oh, yes, we are ready. But I have fear because you know, there are a lot of other countries who've done this. And what we have suggested to them is that, for heaven's sake, how can you say elections should only be conducted in a day? And it might interest you to know, most electoral officers in Nigeria do not vote. And why? Why should they be disenfranchised? We're talking of thousands of people. The reason they can't vote is simply because election is only conducted in a day. And as a result, if you are INEC chairman or a director or even the youngest person in INEC, so you have been transferred out of your location, and because the election is only happening on a single day, you're automatically disenfranchised. You can't vote. So even if I want to vote, I shouldn't be denied because I work for INEC. That shouldn't be the case.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. Now, to return to the matter of peaceful conduct of peaceful and credible conduct of election, as you would have heard the president speak as well, and the president was speaking about, you know, having been committed publicly to this. He said it a number of times, and he was saying it again, and so all of that is as expected. But let's take the package, the report that we made and that has gone out earlier on this very focus on peaceful and credible elections.
Presidential candidates and their political parties have come to commit to a peaceful conduct in the build-up to next year's big election. The mood here is calm, warm and friendly. This is a sharp contrast to the narrative on social media and the public space. The National Peace Committee believes signing the peace accord will make politicians take responsibility for their words, actions and activities capable of inciting and causing violence.
Issues of major concern that have the potential to negatively impact on the integrity are emerging. One of such issues is the spread of fake news. Thus, fake news and misinformation continue to pose a significant threat to 2023 general elections.
I think we derive inspiration from Kenya, and we commend them because they ran the most peaceful, most transparent, and most acceptable elections. And their institutions were able to see through that process. We hope, therefore, that the lesson we can learn from them is that these 2023 elections, despite the anxieties and the fears, that by the grace of God, the elections will be free, fair and credible.
The efforts of the Peace Committee will enhance the work of the Independent National Electoral Commission and other relevant stakeholders. INEC sees this as a strategic partnership towards improving the electioneering process. The chairman of the commission says this time there will be sanctions on candidates and political parties that flout the country's electoral law, and the commission will strictly monitor compliance with the campaign spending limit.
Political parties and candidates should study and familiarize themselves with the electoral legal framework to avoid any infraction of the law and the unhappy consequences that will follow any act of misdemeanor.
From violative conduct, such as 1. Political campaigns or slogans must not contain abusive language.
It appears fake news and misinformation have become a political tool that now threatens the peaceful conduct of elections. Also, campaigns lately have not been issue-based, but rather it has been quarrels between candidates, political parties and supporters. President Muhammadu Buhari, who is also a signatory to the peace accord in 2015 and 2019, says this dangerous trend is capable of scuttling Nigeria's democratic journey.
The signing of the peace accord is a major step towards the success of next year's presidential election. This is very important because it may significantly impact the process. But the ball is now in the court of presidential candidates and their political parties to de-escalate tensions and play according to the rules. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, so as I said, that report went out earlier. I saw that you seem to be appreciative. That was my read. You are approving of a number of the sentiments that went into that.
I do, and I will have to speak for INEC. I mean, maybe here, as in speaking well of them.
Okay, you want to give them kudos.
Kudos to this on issues like this, because if you look at it, one of the things I would say currently that is going on that INEC has done well is using technology to drive some of the processes that usually in the past causes frictions among political members, political party members. Now, with the computerization process, yeah, it's not perfect, don't get me wrong. And if I'm wearing my IT hat here, I know very well how difficult it could be when you are commissioning such a big project. Now, at the background, that helps a lot. Because I will tell you sincerely, just imagine having to tell candidates in the past what will have happened. They will bring their forms to our offices, we start struggling, and everybody will start rushing to INEC and all the rest. And I would say, for me personally, I will give INEC credit for it. It's not perfect. The credit doesn't mean it's perfect.
It's a major step forward.
It's a major step towards this peace accord. Because you can't, the peace accord is a show of, oh, we want everybody to demonstrate.
And we all identify with it.
Identify. But however, there are a lot that INEC too is doing at the background. So I'm not speaking for them, but I think I'm kind of eulogizing them. But I think for me, it's a credit to INEC on this. And I share the sentiment.
Indeed. Well, the credit to INEC for the systems they've put in place. But as you know, this peace accord initiative, I think it's of Abdul Salam Abubakar. So in between the two of them there, you're saying that really it is INEC that is going to, it is INEC's operational procedures that they've been developing that really is going to make this process, what should I call it, desire
to come to be.
Make it come to be. That report highlighted important things, and you are an IT expert, so you know all about it. I'm talking about social media, where around the world, and certainly in Nigeria, it has been put to it has been put to use in a very big way. Now, fake news and misinformation is one of the fears that Femi Akonde was highlighting there, because if we're talking about peaceful, credible elections, people can be either inspired or instigated by what they read on social media. And it's unfortunate, but there are so many, I was almost going to say too many, but let me say there are so many people that take social media as the news and what's to go by. They don't bother to check with the actual, what do we call them now? The established media houses as, look, if this is on social media, are the established media houses, are those ones carrying it, whether radio, whether TV, whether print? They don't bother. The fact that some nameless person has put an unsigned thing on there, it can catch fire.
Yeah, it can, and especially during the electoral process like this. But I'm going to say this. If we go back into history, social media is just similar to when print media were invented during Renaissance.
The very, very beginning of it.
Yeah, so the sense of freedom that people got then is the same sense of freedom we have today. Clearly, I'm sorry to say, but the media houses also have been imbalanced themselves. And as a result, people tend to want to see where they've kind of expressed freedom. That, look, I can share things without being restricted and all the rest. Okay. But arguably, there is hardly any human creation that doesn't have its disadvantages. And clearly, there are a lot of more advantages in the social media world. But however, governments of the day also have impact. I was talking to the Uber driver that brought me here earlier, and that, look, even the way leaders of the nation present themselves to the people affect the subconsciousness. If we treat ourselves with dignity, with respect, it will be so hard for anyone to just go on the media and start writing, or go on social media and start writing or castigating others. But however, we still also have to give ourselves some credit also in Nigeria, because clearly the social integration of Nigerians are great. But often, every 4 years, we come to this point. And often I've reminded people that, look, yes, this time is going to pass. So let's just tone it down. The 4 years we go, there is only 18 candidates. But if I trained as a statistician, even though I don't practice as a statistician, it's only one person, only one person that will become. And obviously, the other 17 will feel that, oh, maybe they've not done enough, depending on how they want to feel.
Well, if that's what they feel, then all well and good.
But however...
But if they begin to do the Trump thing.
Well, unfortunately...
If they begin to do the Trump thing, and that's from as an advanced society as the U.S.
Yeah, so I think the institutions that we have in our country should be able to do the best possible to ease this. I know it's a bit difficult. You can't really police the social media. I have told people about this. If you go deep, if you Google search deep fake, you know, as I'm here seated, someone could post like me.
That's right.
And you're going to think he's me.
That's the difference.
We are not even there in Nigeria.
We're not there. That's the difference that you're making now between fake news and deep fake news.
That one is still coming. It's fake news too.
It is, but it is deep fake in the sense that it looks like all the evidence is here. You know, that's Sonny speaking. I know Sonny, but it can still be fake.
Yeah.
You're putting it back, and I like the point that you bring up in terms of our political society, how the participants themselves have a role to play, because their posture will influence the way that their followers also want to react. Because it is the fact that in Nigeria, people, for the moment of the election, they become acolytes, as it were, of their respective candidates. And they say they are followers, and as followers, there's a certain loyalty that's expected. And so no matter what is being said, they go with that. But I hear that I have a call. This is coming. Mohammed. Good morning, Mohammed.
Good morning, Uncle Yoris. How are
you? Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
So how's Abuja this morning?
I greet you again, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sonny Adenoga.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I just want to ask him, since he's an ICT expert.
Yes.
Can he clarify those voting that they used to bring online? How credible are them? Who are those people concocting those votes that comparing Tinubu and Peter Obi, that even giving Peter Obi vote above Tinubu or above Atiku? I want him to talk
Are you talking about polls? You're talking about statistical guesses.
Sir?
You're talking about these statistical guesses, a.k.a. polls.
Yes, the guesses, yes. The one they brought like 2 times.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How credible are them? Who are those people doing that vote?
Who are behind those polls?
An expert on ICT.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Yes.
Sonny, they brought it right into your territory. Statistical polls.
Yes. Thanks.
In America, they can be quite close.
Yeah, they can be quite close.
But he is saying, in our environment here where we don't know those kind of things, what do you think of it?
Yes, I think usually with respect to those who carry out this poll, it's self-governing. So you want to demonstrate to people that I'm credible. But what ends up happening is the only thing they can rely on is their own credibility. If TVC chooses to release a poll today, and people find it out that after some time that, look, this poll these guys are talking about is nothing to write with. But next time when you bring out such poll, nobody's going to listen to you.
Exactly.
But that needs to be said, that first and foremost is on their own credibility. But I'm not going to dismiss that. But clearly in our country, we know that there are a lot of people on social media now, a lot in quotes. But at the same time,
I'm happy you said that, because I'm going to come back to it when you say a lot in quotes.
A lot in quotes. And the reason why I have to say this is that I have been saying this before time. People tend to say, oh, you guys are IT organizations, you are not on social media. And I'm going to give you an example of what we did some time ago when we first started in 2019. We did a poll, we did an advert on Facebook, and we got over 25,000 clicks, likes, and all the rest. But do you know, not one person resulted to registering as a member of our party. So, and when we also share articles on our website, and we monitor, we collect a lot of data, analyze this data.
Indeed, I see it.
And we started saying
you even repost some INEC stuff.
Yeah,
you know.
We started seeing this and said, look, are we really sure about these people who click these things? So we now know what Elon Musk pulling out of Twitter. So clearly, one has to take every poll with a pinch of salt. I'm sorry. Because it is not clear fire. It's just like in Nigeria.
One moment, please, because there's a viewer is waiting, and I'll come back to that. Perhaps one of the best-known polls might be Gallup, for example. Gallup. You were talking about the integrity of the pollsters themselves. Good morning, Mr. George. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Uncle Yori, the topic for today's discussion is focused on peaceful and credible elections. If these elections are to be peaceful, I think the young people among the contestants needs to be addressed. What am I saying? Uncle Yori, I saw the video of the peace meeting they had yesterday. And I saw Sowore, the way he behaved there towards Shettima. If you like, go back to the video and watch it. I have it and the voice.
I know what you're talking about. Most people also saw it.
He was virtually attacking Shettima with utmost discontent and disrespect, behaving as if he is not a Yoruba man, as somebody who was not well brought up. Is Shettima his mate? Shettima is a two-time governor. Sowore has never won a polling booth. If they are contesting, and he was asking Shettima, attacking Tinubu in the presence of Shettima and other people, is that his attack part of the contest of elections? Shettima has supporters, and they saw that video. If Shettima were to encourage his own supporters to behave the way Sowore is behaving, will Sowore be able to go and campaign anywhere? They will lynch him. So these people are the ones that we need to watch. Okay. The supporters of Peter Obi also behave the same way. You dare not say anything contrary to their own beliefs. They don't believe that somebody else has a different option. If it is not what they believe, then it must not be said. That is not the spirit of elections anywhere in the world. This is the time to let the young people know that it is either you contest or you move away from it. We cannot hold elections in this form.
Okay.
And coming back again, sir, if I were INEC, I have said this before, how do you contest? You have 18 parties contesting. Out of these 18 parties, about 15 of them have never won a local government. Some of them have never even won a polling booth. We are wasting our resources by bringing those people to come and contest for presidential elections. You can start with local government elections or state government. Anybody that has not won a local government should not be able to contest governorship election. And if you have never won a state, you should not bother yourself contesting a presidential election. We have to save money. This is time wasting as far as I'm concerned. But peace-wise, security-wise, young people must be called to order.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George. I'm going to go on a quick break now. Please stay with us, and we'll be right back, Sonny. If you just take a break, we'll be right back. Stay with us.